the end, he says, you got to say something like new landscape outpatient, mental health. And I looked at him and I said, there's a word that's missing here.
Yeah.
And it was love.
Welcome to Stronger with Every Session. This is your space for candid conversations, deep dives into crucial topics, and practical education you can use to transform your life. Together, we are stronger with every session. Today, we're joined by Jeff Young, LCSW, a clinician with over 30 years of experience and founder of Renew Hope and Healing, a practice reshaping how mental health care is delivered. We'll be diving into how we can break down the walls that keep people from getting help, why stigma still thrives in silence, and how we can turn awareness into action. Jeff, can you start by telling us a little bit about your journey, what led you to create Renew Hope and Healing, and the needs that you saw in the community?
Absolutely. So first, thanks for having me.
We are very happy you are here.
It really started when I was about 22 and I went to counseling. And at the end of it, my therapist said, okay, yeah, I think you're done. You don't have much more. And I said, that's great. And she said, okay, what do you want to do from here? And I said, I want your job.
There you go.
I said, how do I do it?
You were inspired.
I was.
Yeah.
I felt great. So I went through, I said, what do I need to do? And she told me, I had an undergrad, so I went to my bachelor's. And I felt like, what she's doing, I can do. I grew up with a family of 6 kids, and I knew how to listen. I knew how to support people.
It would be hard not to in a family of 6, right? You have to share the floor a lot.
Absolutely. Some of my brothers are different, but so that's kind of what started it. And then I was in private practice for a while in a group, and the group wanted to, the owner was selling, and the group wanted to just kind of stick where they were in the building. And I'm like, man, there's a lot of things that need to happen with mental health. It really needs to be affordable, but we need more slots for people, and they need to get in right away. So what I ended up doing is starting an office in Victor with just 3 people. And then after that, the vision and the mission just kind of took hold.
Could you tell us a little bit about your mission in like your vision?
Yeah, so it's a funny story about this. When I wrote it, my son was helping me.
Yeah.
And he was typing it, and I was looking at it. And at the end, he says, "So you got to say something like, the new landscape outpatient mental health, and it's going to help build the community." And I looked at him and I said, I was looking out the window. I said, "There's a word that's missing here."
Yeah.
And it was love.
Love, and that's not really a word you hear all the time in mental health, right?
So it's a new landscape of outpatient mental health where people and the community are stronger to give and receive love. And the reason I did that, the new landscape is, let's get people in right away.
Right.
And then the ability to give and receive love is really, for me, is what I did in counseling when I first started, is to realize that people need to feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
And just them coming in, and I said, well, thanks for coming, you're a courageous person.
The fact that you showed up, that you even were brave enough to show up.
Absolutely. I've done that too, and it's like, so being able to do that, and then, with the skills around depression, anxiety, bipolar, relationships, they've been able to care about themselves more. And then what ends up happening, the people around them who are healthy, who've been wanting to be a part of their lives,
Right.
can because they're more healthy and they have those skills.
So you're almost talking about, like you're saying, spread, love and hope into the community, which I think is so valuable and so important. But another way I'm looking at it is you're almost saying that by having people come here and getting them in and showing them love and respect, there's almost like this ripple effect where it impacts everybody else. So many times when we think of mental health, right, we're treating the client, but in a roundabout way, what you're saying is by treating the client, we're actually helping to support everybody else in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or giving the client the tools to do that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
And that's what started happening.
Yeah.
In the first vision, it was to help people, and then it became community as well because we got the feedback from the community.
Yeah, so you've felt like you're getting good feedback from the community, like you're seeing an impact, you're hearing from the community, like, hey, this is really, really working.
Yeah.
And on that point, like, I'm actually curious, since you've done this, are you still finding that there's any barriers that are getting in the way of people being able to get services?
Yeah, there's three main ones, I would say. The first one is the courage to call, especially when people are depressed, they're anxious, they're not able to, it's just that first phone call.
Yeah.
They usually need some kind of encouragement, and then they call, thank God we have a great client team, people who can, we call it the first session.
The first session.
On the phone.
Yeah.
We'll take care of you. So I think that's a barrier
And
for people.
there's the stigma surrounding mental health that goes into that, right? Having the courage despite what other people around you might be saying or thinking about.
Right. Yeah. Just saw someone today who was like that and said, I need encouragement. So the second concern I see a lot is that people don't have insurances that are taken by the clinicians.
And that's
I see that
such
a lot.
such a huge barrier, right?
It's very significant.
Yeah.
Especially
you
for-
call and you say, hey, is my insurance? And they're like, sorry, we can't serve you.
Especially for Medicaid clients. There's so many places that aren't able to accept Medicaid, and I see that all the time online, people saying, where do I bring my child? They have blue choice option, nobody's taking it.
Right, and it's interesting because when we're credentialing our clinicians, it takes 3 months to get them on commercial, and another 3 months to get them on the commercial. The Medicaid HMO.
Yeah.
Which means our clinicians need to delay their service of that. And, again, that's an issue. So the third thing is that getting therapists aboard that are interested, but even more so retaining, especially full-time.
Yeah.
Like the quality of care that.
Well, I think the quality of care, we're always looking at that and making sure that people are satisfied getting the skills. And the clinicians are happy too. But what we see is the retention rate is hard because we don't offer health care. We don't offer, when you're independently.
Yeah, contracting.
You have your own business. And then we don't offer, we're trying to, but holidays, you have to, plan on working, several weeks to put up, make sure you save enough for that. And also, what we're finding is, which is really sad for the society in general, is that the reimbursement rates are from the insurance, the payers are significantly low.
Yeah.
For a while, for 15 years, there was no increase in the Medicaid.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 15 years. And
It's a very long time.
It is. And then what we're finding is if you make a therapist, you make, let's say, In general, it's a $65 a session. Not doing your notes, not getting there, not coffee.
All the other things, yeah.
It comes out to, around 60 to 70,000. Now, you take your taxes away because you're an independent.
Oh, yeah.
And now it goes down to 45, some 39. And then, and if you do less hours, it's more like $25.
Right.
Because So my son makes about $26 delivering pizza, and he's trying to move out, and it's hard. So you have a family. So that's what we hear a lot from clinicians is trying to get around. So one of the things we've done, because our size, we have over 100 clinicians now, is that we've been able to negotiate with the payers.
Oh, yeah.
And they've increased.
That's awesome.
And we also offer what's called value-based care, and what we do there is we get people in from the emergency rooms, partial hospitalization within 5 days.
Wow.
And being able to do that, then we can get a reimbursement. So 7%, which is great. And I don't mean to complain. It's great. And that'll help with all the expenses. But we need to advocate for more.
It's interesting too, because when I asked you the question about barriers, I'm a clinician, right? I wasn't even thinking about barriers, including clinicians. I was really just thinking, oh wow, people in the community, but you're absolutely right. Like the health insurance piece, like it actually impacts us all. Like we actually are all a part of the community, right? In one way, shape or form. And as you were saying that, it made me think a little bit about some of my own experiences. And I was wondering actually if you're finding that because of these barriers, right? Like people are trying to get mental health support in different ways, such as social media. I see all the time a lot of information, coming out from social media. I've seen some really good stuff. I'm sure you have too.
Oh, yeah.
But as a clinician, I've also seen sometimes some concerning things, right? It's kind of the Wild West.
Some of the different trends that there's a line between awareness and encouraging trends about, I heard about this disorder and now that's how I'm identifying. And, I think that there's a big gap there between the educational side of it and people trying to use that as a space for them to figure out where they fit in. Right. Self-diagnosing, things like that.
So with social media, I think it's been a pro and a con. The one is the disconnecting of people being face-to-face and the relationship benefits from that. The other one is the good part of that, I think, is that people are educated more. The posts about mental health have increased significantly over the last, let's say, 15 years. And those people are expressing their ability to get better with counseling and talking to other people, as well as there's memes, there's advertisement for therapy, and that all helps for people to get there too.
Do you think, on your point of social media and some of the benefits, and we were just talking about stigma, do you feel that social media in a way has helped to reduce a little bit of stigma around mental health? Or even, something I've really appreciated is people's vulnerability, people who are accessible to say, hey, I have this disorder. This is a part of me. It's not all of me, right? Or seeing somebody, for example, like schizophrenia, right? For so long, there was such a stigma about schizophrenia, and I've seen people who have schizophrenia come on, Instagram, Facebook, and they're saying, hey, like, actually, I am a functional person, right? Like, I take medication. And I've just so appreciated that, because I think in the past with movies, TV, social media, like certain diagnoses are kind of like really looked at in a very critical lens, and it's you know,
It's hard.
yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. And I think one of the things I have enjoyed too is people saying, my therapist. You know, and, I'm going to go to my therapist about that. You know, and that's just another way to affirm that.
And
Yeah.
be supported, like to have another support in your life, right? Yeah.
And other people like, oh, you go to the therapist? Well, maybe I can.
Yes. Yeah, especially when you see somebody that inspires you, right? That you think, hey, that person has it all together. And instead of the thought being somebody goes to therapy because they don't have it all together, the thought is therapy can help support you in being healthy, right? And not all therapy is just going when things are, you know, absolutely horrific. Sometimes therapy is a lot of different things, right? It's self-improvement.
I think another big thing that social media has impacted is like generational trauma and addressing the outcomes of that, because I think that was something that really wasn't being talked about, and you know, people would feel like they were reacting in certain ways that were wrong, and when you put the pieces together, having this kind of parenting relationship can result in this, and I think that's probably helped a lot of people.
Like reducing shame. In a sense. Yeah.
And then figuring out how to move forward from there, right? There's a lot of things you realize later on in your life that impact you more than you thought they would.
It reminds me of a 74-year-old client years ago. He's passed now, but he said he looks so much forward to counseling. We were doing weekly and any other week, but he said, I need someone to talk to about the things I can't tell anyone else.
Yeah. Wow.
And he said, I talk to my pets, but they ignore me.
Go figure.
They only have eye contact for a second, and I try to get ideas from them, but all they want is more food. So, you know, that kind of support is so important.
Yeah. And that goes to speak that there's no cutoff for an age, you know, that you're too old to go to therapy or to deal with some of your inner turmoil, whatever that may look like.
Yeah,
And
we're
he
forever
had it.
learners.
He had it.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like, you know, we were just sitting talking.
And you know, Jess, when you were just talking about like generational trauma in families, that made me think about how much time we were all together with our families during the pandemic, right? And I was curious, Jeff, how did you see the pandemic impact mental health?
Well, the first thing is that the clinicians had to adjust I think it was March, or the first or second week in March, where we just had to go from in-office to telehealth.
Like that.
Yep. So that took a while. And then about a year into it, insurances were able to support us. New York State actually passed a law that allowed us to do telehealth and even phone, which was great. I mean, I don't prefer that, but some people, you know, the internet is bad. So we're able to do that. And then we also got more referrals, and several of the teens, if not most, would come in and they were so lonely. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
They didn't get to see their friends,
Yeah.
sports, you know, it was, and then also what ended up happening is when they did come in later on, they would talk to me about their friends and suicidal ideation. The one good thing, I was able to see kids' rooms, their bedrooms, because they would usually
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, how they decorate or how they mess their room.
It gave you insight.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Yeah, you know, and as a teenager too, you know, such a crucial time, right, for like social relationships and all of those things, and it's like, you know, taken away.
It was brutal.
Brutal. I think that's a very accurate word. So brutal for the clients, but also a little bit for the clinicians.
Burnout was higher.
Burnout was higher. You know, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because as a helper too, we were also going through the pandemic and experiencing relatably a lot of feelings that our clients were probably feeling too in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was happening to everybody.
Yes.
It's hard to not identify and to stay in that counselor role sometimes because someone would say, and you know, we have to keep that division at times to be really effective.
And when you said, you know, about the phone calls, I was actually wondering, were you able to connect with people in more rural areas that maybe previously had that barrier, right, to receive mental health treatment?
Absolutely, because a lot of times there would be internet connection problems. And we just couldn't. And when you're listening to someone, you need that immediate response, you know, and I'll miss a word, and it's like, well, can you? And now we're running out of time because we can't. We're spending too much time trying to understand each other.
Wow.
So the going from internet to phone solved a lot of those problems.
So, you know, and I think a majority of people in mental health would agree phone call wouldn't be our first choice, but also it's been beneficial in some ways, you know, in a pinch to be there as a support, even if we can only hear each other's voices.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't discourage people from coming to counseling if they can only do phone. Yeah. It's interesting because when you mentioned COVID, there was a very difficult time for small businesses.
Yeah.
Because Renew lost a lot of money. So we applied for the subsidies from the federal government, and we got some of those, and those really helped. They were delayed. But one of the things that happened, when I started Renew, social worker, caretaker, I had no idea about finance. You know, and so after about 4 years, we were in desperate straits, especially with the pandemic. And you have to meet payroll. And I wasn't going to meet payroll. My wife and I went to, I mean, this was over a year, so I just kept borrowing money.
Wow.
And we really wanted to make this thing happen. And we had a lot of people relying on this service. So we did that, and then it became a point where we just couldn't do payroll. My wife and I had talked to a lawyer about bankruptcy, and we knew we had options. So it just happened to be we had a board meeting with my brother, who's a successful businessman, and my mother, who was the only other person who would be willing to do it. So at the board meeting, my brother says, "Okay, let me see your financials." I gave it to him. He says, "This looks like a sixth grader did this."
Very to the point.
Businessman.
We all have our strengths.
He said, "Okay, how much did you lose this year?" I'm like, "A lot." He goes, "How much?" I said, "A lot." So he looked at my mother for some help, you know, with and she's sleeping on the couch. She was like, anyways, so a day later I got a call from him, and he said, "You know, I really believe in your cause. I'd like to invest."
Wow.
So he invested some money and kept us alive, and got us to the point where I was actually able to get a paycheck.
That's amazing.
And then actually able to hire more people. And then in the meantime, we're bringing on more therapists, and have become financially stable.
Yeah.
And so that was a real big thing for COVID, as well as in the mental health industry at the time.
Wow, what a journey, Jeff. And I appreciate too the fact that, you know, we're talking about you and your, everything you've done, and you're successful. Like, Renew has taken off, but at the same time, you're very humble and transparent in the fact that, hey, you did have some support, you did have help, you sacrificed a lot too. Like, you struck that match, and then sometimes we have to see where that fire travels, and you did have people along the way. That's
absolutely and
amazing.
That the people who were committed. And then what I found out, which was such a great surprise to me, was the vision that we had, along with the core values, which is passion for healing, inspire hope, clinically sound, culturally inclusive, and love for people. People, the staff and the clinicians embraced that. And so what that did was I could step back administratively, because other people had embraced that and they could carry that. So that gave me the ability to step back and get out of the administration because I wasn't good in it.
Yeah.
And just let the team take over and experience that vision and take it to places I could never imagine. So that's helped a lot.
So,
with my personal satisfaction and just being able to step back.
So when you say taking it to places that you never expected, I gotta ask you. So it's become a success. It's growing, right? So what's the plan for Renew? What's the future outlook? The 5-year plan. We talk about 5-year plans all the time, right? Where do you see it going?
Well, I tell you, I would love to see being able to go from seeing people. We have about 900 sessions a week.
Wow.
And in 5 years, I don't see why they can't be 3,500 a week.
That's a big goal.
That's a lot of people that you're
How about it?
interacting with,
Yeah, just
healing.
think of the people that we're touching now.
Yeah.
And being able to give encouragement. Also expanding our offices. Right now we're adding some offices to our child and family office space. We're adding 8 more. And we're looking at other offices too. To do that, because people want in office more now. So doing that, also looking at urban communities, because we've been able to work with rural and suburban.
Yeah.
And everyone needs mental health issues. It's just in urban, it's just a little more difficult. There's more barriers that are put up. So being able to do that would be great, and I think ethically it would be a great thing to be able to do for the community. And then also, one of the things we're looking at, not only increasing numbers, but also having an influence on the payers.
Okay.
And I spoke about that earlier in terms of negotiating with payers, and then getting the legislators on board. Getting other stakeholders on board.
Absolutely.
Getting clinicians on board, all speaking up, doing what's need to be done. Our clients on board, because we need to have a livable wage for our clinicians.
Yeah.
In order to continue what we're doing.
Helping the helper.
What kind of effects do you think that'll have on accessibility for care?
The higher reimbursements.
Yeah, having better insurance relationships.
Yeah, I think the insurance relationships, they're solid, but it's not affirming of what we do.
So having a better connection with those insurance companies, getting those higher reimbursement rates, probably wider credentialing, right? So
wider credentialing,
yeah, more clients being able to be seen by people in their insurance network. That probably is a huge.
With an insurance, we can generally accept that. The other piece of that too is satisfaction for clinicians. there's really people generally want to stay, especially full-timers, but they can't. They literally can't because they don't have the health care, they don't have the time off, they don't have, and a boost in reimbursement, it directly would impact them and their families and their livelihood, their ability to enjoy more what they do, the stress level, and it would continue allow us to provide the sessions and increase the sessions and the people that we serve.
That would be really impactful. If you could say one thing to somebody who's struggling in silence right now, what would that be?
There's help available. You need to take the first step. I think I've looked all around for something that's meaningful and foolproof in my life. And I would say there's three things that never fail. And one is to have extreme confidence in myself and love myself.
Be brave.
Be brave and know the value of myself. And in therapy, I'm looking at someone and I'm saying, you are amazing. There'll never be someone like you. There never was. And you're it.
That's
and
amazing.
That is amazing. You look at a child, and how could you say it's a bad?
Right.
It can't. There's no way you can.
Right.
So that's a truth. Because the person grows up, but they don't, a child cries, but you don't say, what the heck? You know? So that piece, and I think also another truth I found, that is when we are able to accept love from other people. What that does to us as individuals, and not only the feelings, but the ability to feel confident, loved, supported, go through our day, especially if we're having bad days or the mental health is affecting how we're doing in our relationships, how we react to stress. And the last thing I would say is, maybe the best is loving other people and the impact of that on the other person and what that creates. I mean, we're all sitting here saying, okay, why are we doing this? Because we care about everyone else. We care about, and being able to love other people, to me is one of the best gifts I've had in my life, because what it gives me, I'm able to change someone's life, and being able to do that gives me a sense of agency, a sense of control, a sense of I make a difference, I have a purpose, and who doesn't?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Who doesn't want to seek that? And so that's the type of thing for me that I would tell someone. There's more to it that meets the eye here. And in fact, the suffering you're going through is going to be transformed.
That's beautiful.
So, every night, or a night of crying your eyes out, is the next day, or a day of laughter.
Wow. Yeah. That gives me a feeling, a sense of a lot of hope, right?
Because we see that,
which
we see
need.
that over and over in people, and not to mention our family. We go through things, we don't see the benefit during it, we don't feel the benefit, but to have a therapist say, I'm holding this for you, this is what you want, I'm gonna hold this, and you can have it, one step at a time, unfortunately, but you can have this, and you're not strong enough to hold it, but you want it, and we can do this together. We can help you along with support in your family and community. You can take that and grab it, and now it's yours. Yeah,
there's hope. There's a lot of hope. I love that.
If every listener could walk away with one takeaway from today, what would you want that to be?
I think what I said about that there's a absolutely possibility, if not reality, of them loving themselves, loving others, and being loved by others. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. You've got it. And go seek it.
Yeah.
Make a phone call. Talk to a friend, a family member who can offer them the encouragement to do that.
Take that first step.
Take the first step.
Take the first step. That's always the hardest, but go for it.
Yeah.
Is essentially what you're
And
saying.
know
Yeah.
that you'll be stronger with every session.
Love that. Love that. Well, Jeff, I got to tell you, there's been so many like amazing takeaways from today, and one of the takeaways, I think we all got is that healing doesn't happen in isolation, right? In the community, like it happens together and being connected. And I just want to thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your expertise, and your journey. It was really inspiring. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's great to share it. I
Yeah.
don't have a lot of opportunities to do that, so
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Those questions.
Well, we definitely appreciate you coming in and everything that you've done for the community, for Renew, and to create that better access to quality mental health care.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for joining us today on Stronger with Every Session, a podcast by Renew Hope and Healing. If today's episode taught you something new or helped you see mental health in a new light, share it with somebody else to help them grow too.